Hello, hello. What's going on? How you doing, guys?
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Res
Been
Juju.
so
here.
long.
Yep, we got lead designer Garrett with us.
How you guys doing?
It's been what, about a month, right? Because
Yep.
we do this.
Just about.
We do this
I
every
think it's
month.
actually been a little bit longer since I've actually been on.
True. Yeah.
But feels good to be back. We got some cool stuff to talk about.
We do. I know we just came out of HRX and had a lot of big announcements there. Talked about Battlegrounds.
Oh my gosh. You guys, you have no idea. You have no idea.
Yeah,
Yep.
we've been having a lot of fun internally with that. Can't wait to share it with you. And we're going to be having Mick on a little bit later, and he's going to be talking about that. But for right now, Garrett and I are going to talk to you guys about Season 2.
Season 2?
Season 2.
That is it going to be better than Season 1?
Bigger, better,
Faster?
stronger. Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, no, we have some awesome changes coming for you guys. Hopefully we got a lot of ranked players in the chat, just because I know kind of the competitive aspect of Paladins is by far one of the most rewarding for me. So do you want to kind of like just hit the features list and be like boom, boom, boom?
Well, I think before we do that,
Okay, all right.
what's
Keep
going
that
to
in mind.
happen to Rank 1, man?
Rank 1.
Or
Season 1?
Season 1, yeah. Or, sorry,
So-
well, your rankings from Season
Yep,
1.
yep. As you guys know, we are kind of stalling our release cycle a little bit to guarantee this awesome patch in OB66. Now what that means though is that you guys are like looking at the season readout in your interface, in your client, and you're like, there's like 7 days left or there's 6 days left. I gotta get those titles, get those weapons. What we're gonna do is we're gonna extend that up until OB66.
Sure.
So whenever we release the next patch, or excuse me, 60, basically season 2. The
Sure.
next time that you can get that season refresh, you'll have basically, we're gonna extend the time, so you can basically not to worry too much about it. This is gonna give a little bit extra time. So if you want to get that Drogo skin, if you want to get that title, 'cause it's really title, and just to clarify, those are going away. They're limited. You won't be able to get them again, and then the new season will bring some new rules. So.
Awesome, man. I'm happy to hear it. And so what? Probably about a couple weeks at least, right?
Yeah.
Well, people have to get in there and try and unlock that. And so Season 2. Let's go to the future. All right.
I love the future.
What do you think that we did well in Season 1, and where do you think we're going to go to improve those things in Season 2?
Yeah, so shout outs to all you guys for season 1 participation. Like when we kind of came out and did the ranked 2.0 and released season 1, we saw a huge jump in ranked participation. Really awesome. You guys kind of blew that queue out of the water. We saw a lot of competition, a lot of grinding for the grandmasters and masters, and even getting the platinums and the diamonds. They were even the qualifying rounds, I remember just coming in and it was like slightly more heated.
Yep.
It was intense. But yeah, so we're wanting to kind of reinvigorate, get even a larger turnout. We love how Paladins kind of attracts that competitive audience. All of our game, the shooting aspects, the kind of stats building aspects,
Sure.
it really comes to a focal point in our competitive mode. And we want to redo it. We want to redo it again and make sure we get the same like boom and explosion of excitement. So
Awesome.
it's gonna be badass, guys.
Yeah, I remember with when Season 1 launched, I remember internally we all had the group chats going, and it's like, hey,
yeah,
hey,
you guys,
did you do your
you and Nick would
qualifiers?
come like
Yeah.
at lunch, and you're like, they're like, oh god, he's on point, I need the heals. And they'd be like, I got you, man.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, it got intense. It got
a
intense.
little coaching action going on. It was,
Yeah. I think Nick and I ended up towards the upper end of Plat, like Plat 1, Plat 2. You know.
Season 2, it's gonna be better, Matt.
I hope so.
It's gonna
I
be
hope
better.
so. I'm ready, man.
You're gonna go higher.
And where it is,
Grandmasters.
sky's the limit. but where it is that so Season 2, you and I were talking about this the other day. And so it's going to be a soft reset. You said.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, can you explain what that is for anyone here who might not know
Sure,
the
sure.
difference between hard reset,
I'll
soft
simplify
reset?
it slightly. So a hard
Sure.
reset, right? As always, matches are made based on kind of an MMR value. And what happens on a hard reset is just zeroes it out. So everyone comes into their qualifiers, and it's kind of just a blank slate. A soft reset is essentially, instead of if everyone's rating is 10, a hard reset would set everyone to 0.
Okay.
If everyone's rating is 10, and then it'll maybe like bring it down to like, okay, it'll be like a 2, and then or like a 3 or a 4. So it's has some semblance of kind of your previous placement
Sure.
that influences the new kind of base.
Which means
matchmaking
that
value.
there's going to be less volatility because the system has a better idea where
correct.
you belong.
So your qualifying matches be a little bit more intelligently placed.
Sure.
Doesn't need that hard reset that we needed in season 1
Mhm.
because we were going from a drastically different ranked system into this new one. But we're keeping the same structure here, so it should inform the process for all your qualifying matches.
Now,
better experience.
Speaking of qualifying matches, that's something that changes as well with Season 2, correct?
That is correct. So we got a lot of feedback that 15 matches was a little bit too long, and I understand qualifying can be a little stressful at times, but we're confident in bringing it down to 10, and also with the fact that it's a soft reset in combination with the fact that we're reducing the qualifying matches. So it should just be a very informed rating process, so it should kind of place you in the division a little bit quicker and just as accurately.
Right on. And so divisions, those are all going to be the same. Nothing's changing with those.
Divisions are, yep.
All right. And so what about your borders from Season 1? What's going to happen there?
Right. So our borders in Paladins are representations of where you are currently placed.
Mhm.
So when the new season comes about, you're going to go back to base, back to stock.
Mhm.
And as soon as you finish your qualifying matches, you're going to gain your new one, and then hopefully
Sure.
I'll see you all in Grandmasters. And then
Some cocky talk over here. I don't know.
yeah,
We'll see.
No, all of our players are extremely talented, and I think we actually surprised ourselves on the majority of kind of just people climbing and grinding.
Sure.
It's really cool to see all that retention and engagement. It was badass.
Yeah, I personally I liked how the TP system made it easier for me to kind of like track my path up, my path down, whatever
Yes,
was happening.
It's a really good system for that. It's very clear, like, okay, this is what's happening, that's going on, and just gives you something to shoot for with those like very nice kind of ascertainable goals and milestones along the way.
Cool. And so you're talking about goals and milestones, and
Beautiful segue. You're killing it with these. Yep.
I know you guys, the art team, design, everyone's been hard at work on some new cool stuff, and we can't quite break that out yet, but there's
I won't talk about what we're giving you, but
Okay.
I'll talk about kind of just broad outlines. So in season 1, right, you got a collection of kind of rewards. So there was the Drogo's Terramorph skin, which was actually broken in 2. You got the weapon and then the body separately, and you also got a title, and then you also got kind of, I think, some chests depending on how you place. And now what we're doing is we're going to kick it up a notch for season 2, and so you're going to get a full skin, full character skin for a champion, which will be announced later, for just the same kind of qualification level that you needed on Drogo's Terramorph one. So that same kind of, I think it was gold 5, I believe, benchmark. If you can reach that level, then boom, you're getting this full champion skin. It's a badass one too, so I'm excited for you guys to see it later.
pretty revved up for it.
Yeah, pretty revved up. And then we're gonna kind of kick. So our end of season 1, right? It was like 200 grind. I think it was either the title, right? It was for that really long milestone. What we'd like to do is put a little bit more value on the longer goal. And so what we're gonna do is release a full, or not release, sorry. We're going to put a full epic character skin on that milestone. So it's gonna be a badass skin, and it is the long one. It is a long one too. You got to go for it. But so if you play ranked, if you're a dedicated user, you're gonna have the opportunity to get some really exclusive, dope skins that you won't be able to find anywhere else.
Word. So more rewards up front, more rewards for the people who grind it out and
On the end, too.
stay in it for the long haul.
Oh yeah, it's exciting, man. And also we'll be doing a new title too. So Forged in Battle will be Into the Sunset. We'll be seeing it later. So now in the future, if you see anyone with Forged in Battle, you know that they're one of the OGs that kind of came in and built the rank system at its core. And then season 2 will have its brand new one. Which should I spoil? I'll maybe pester me on Twitter, and we might be able to come to an agreement for these title spoil info.
So this is something I know we're going to dive into in blog posts in way more detail later, but balance going into Season 2, that's something that is getting a full pass, I'm told.
Yeah, definitely. So historically, our players know that just where the game's been kind of in the recent year, we've had a far range of balance patches. Traditionally speaking, with your competitive games, you generally save a lot of your broad kind of changes for kind of seasonal segments. and that's the format we'd like to start moving to.
Sure.
So kind of slightly more incremental in between, and then Season 2 patch itself, and maybe then like a mid-season patch later,
Sure.
we'll generally have a larger selection of changes that will be maybe a bit more meta shifting, maybe some kind of reorganizations of the efficacies of different roles, that kind of thing. That's definitely something that's going to happen in Season 2, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what the meta is going to be. We can. Well, yeah, I'll save it for the patch. I'll save it for the patch.
Yeah, and you're going to be doing some blog posts too, anyway.
Yes,
to kind of break it down.
We want to get a little bit better with how kind of our decision-making processes and the things that are coming in the future with you guys. So we're planning some kind of a little bit more in-depth dives that will be released in a more of a curated professional format for you guys.
Yeah, because largely, I mean, when we talk about things, like if it's on a show, a lot of times we don't get into the nitty-gritty about it because, you know, a lot of times it's just trying to stay on topic for what people are interested in. And the patch notes, same thing. We don't want these big walls of text. So moving forward, like you said, we're going to try and just deep dive a lot of these and get real, you know, into the nuts and bolts of things.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got some good stuff coming. And also, not to say that other patches won't have balance changes in them.
Sure.
That's a thing that's going to be probably fairly consistent. It's just kind of large systematic changes, or like re-weights are going to happen seasonal or kind of in between. But obviously, if there's like glaring issues or things that need to be attended to in intermittent patches, absolutely they'll be attended.
Cool. That's good to hear, man. That's good to hear. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about Season 2 before we jump into our next topic with Mick?
Yeah. I mean, I think so. We talked about the rewards.
We did.
We talked about the qualification. We talked. Oh, so what we didn't say, guys. I know so we kind of launch ranked with a. How many champs do we have when we launch ranked?
Man, I can't keep track. We keep cranking
them out.
We have
a few champs.
A lot.
35. Well, that's how much we have now. We have 35 champions now. But when we came out with Season 1, I think it was a little bit less because we've been kind of on a pretty breakneck pace.
Probably high 20s.
Yeah. So now that we have this larger pool of champions, in your draft in rank for Season 2, you're going to have 2 additional bans. So this is going to open up kind of a lot of options for your drafts and your strategies. Now it's like, man, Genis or Maldamba, I wonder who it is. Ban them both. Put the enemy on the back foot. Make their support player panic.
Now you say 2 additional,
happens.
So
3 additional. 2 additional.
So 3 total?
2 additional. Sorry. Total, if you split it, so it'd be 4 bans total.
Gotcha.
2 for each team.
All right. Just making sure we're
and
clarifying.
It'll happen. They're still start of the draft ban, so it's not like intermittent in between picking phases. But yeah, that'll open up a wide breadth of kind of possibilities for drafts. And also, if you're kind of a one-trick, you may have a larger chance of getting banned out. So maybe it's time to, get a little bit more depth in your champion pool, guys. Kind of branch out, play some new roles.
Speaking of champion pools,
yep.
Requirements are going up for that.
That's right. So just because we increase the bans now, then we have to increase the amount of champions you have owned by, I think it's like 2 or 4.
Sure.
But that is another, so it's a minor thing because a lot of the people I'm talking to right now are probably more of our engaged user and probably have all those champs required.
Sure.
But just as a general rule of thumb, we're going to increase the champion own requirements slightly to compensate for the increase in bans. Just so there's not a scenario where you have a player who's like, I literally can't pick anything now. What do I do?
Yeah. Right on, man. Right on. I'm excited for it, man. I'm excited. I'm glad I got a little bit longer to try and keep grinding it out, try and finish the season on a.
Who are you maining last season?
Well, you know me. I don't really main characters much. I play a little. I try to do well around
on them all, Matt. Just top frag on them all.
I think I'm exceedingly mediocre with most champions. I'm terrible with a couple, really good with a few. I probably do best with supports, Maldamba and a lot of the Saras.
Yeah, as a brief teaser, we are likely going to be kind of trying to shift a little bit of kind of. See, it's hard because statistically most of our supports are like real close, and oftentimes the current meta is just that one is less advantageous to use than the other.
Sure.
And oftentimes, it's the exact example I used earlier, right? Where it's like, Genis or Maldamba, I wonder who it's going to be. But we're going to try and do some tweaking so that supports are a little bit more variable of the pick. And it isn't just a guaranteed entry. Like, you might get some C's, D's, E, G, F's, means Z's in there. But,
all right. All right, then.
Yep. Oh, man.
Cool, man.
Did we hit anything else? So we had rewards.
Yeah, rewards
bans,
last season.
Qualifications. we talked about the duration extension. Just so if anyone just joining us, we will be extending this season 1. Right now in your client, I know it says you have like 7 or 6 days. We're gonna extend season 1 until season 2 starts. So you have a little bit more time to get your Terramorph, get your titles, earn your other rewards. Don't panic, but get in there, check out those rank queues, and maybe kind of prep yourself up and get warmed up for the next season.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, I think we're gonna jump over to Mick, and thank you guys for hanging out with us. Stay tuned. We're just gonna roll a video real quick, and we're gonna be right back.
Let's do it.
Thanks, guys.
You gotta fight through the page and get to the top. You gotta push through it all if it's what you want.
Hello, everybody. Damn, I still get excited when I watch that video. I'm here with Hi-Res Mick. Mick, I'll let you tell everybody. Who are you? What have you been doing?
Yeah, I'm Hi-Res Mick. I've been working on the Paladins Battlegrounds mode for a little while now, and we're really excited to be able to get this in your hands really soon. We just debuted it at HRX, and we had a great turnout there. We had really great feedback, and I can't wait to tell you a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yep.
I know that we've had a lot of questions about Battlegrounds, and, you know, a lot's still changing. We're still early in, but I think we're making really good progress. So as far as, like, how we've been doing that, it's basically an offshoot, separate team within our team.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk about how that was assembled and kind of the progress you've been making?
Sure, yeah. So with the development of this mode, obviously we've been doing a lot of work on Paladins over the past year, adding all these champions, new game modes, that kind of thing. And so at one point we had a small group on the side start developing the idea of adding a Battle Royale mode, kind of taking our old survival mode that we used to have in the game,
Sure.
and kind of expanding that idea. And so we've been working on that, and the team was really excited about showing that at HRX for the first time. And everyone who was there got to actually play it and give us feedback on that. And then, so we have a team still working on that right now, and we're prepping that for hopefully a release pretty soon. And the rest of the team is also still working on bug fixes and a lot of the quality of life stuff. And so we're taking a little extra time this patch cycle to get it right.
That's awesome. I'm excited for it. I know internally, we've been doing the play tests, and every day, like, the email goes around, everyone's queuing up and trash talking each other, and we've been having a lot of fun internally with it. So I really can't wait to see what you guys think about it. Mm-hmm. With our Battlegrounds mode, a lot of people have been kind of talking and saying, like, what are the big differences? Like, what do we bring to the table by trying to integrate Paladins with a format like that?
Well, so with Paladins, obviously it's a champion hero shooter, and we think we have a really genuinely fresh take on the Battle Royale game mode. And so you play as your champion, as a hero. And so instead of going around and picking up different weapons and med kits and things like that, and changing your loadout as you're playing the game, you are basically getting stronger. Mm-hmm. And the longer you survive, you better be getting stronger, or else you won't survive too much longer. Yeah. And so you have abilities, you invest in your weapon, you have ultimate abilities. There's all sorts of special things that we can do because we're a hero shooter.
Sure.
That I think is a fresh take on this game type.
So you talk about getting stronger and everything, and there's a really cool mechanic I just wanted to kind of bring attention to that I discovered yesterday in a playtest, and we were talking about it earlier, was that with the way that the chests work in our game is a bit different than I think people are used to. There's a glow on them based on what's in them.
Yeah, and you're referring to the loot system.
I am.
Yeah. So we've been working a lot on different loot systems throughout the development of this game mode, and we debuted with the HRX one. We debuted basically a portion of it, and it's pretty similar to what we had at HRX, but we did take the feedback and came back. And so right now, as the game stands, and this might change, but right now there are 6 slots in which we have all new items built for this game mode, and the items have various rarity levels.
Sure.
And those rarity levels will power your champion basically in different ways. And one of the pieces of feedback that we got from HRX is when people were looting the chest and getting these items, people didn't know, okay, did they take everything from there? Did they swap something else in there? And so you had the kind of this round robin thing happening where teammates would cluster around chests.
Sure.
And so the glow and the aura that you're talking about is one of the newest features that we put in, so that you'll know when you look at a chest, you can actually see it there by the building. It's kind of small, but if you see it on the tall building on the left side there, you can see like a little glow around the chest. That means that there is in that one, it's I think a rare item in there, and they will color code based on if it's important to you. So if I already have something that is higher rarity than rare, so if I have like a legendary boots or something like that, then that won't glow. And so it's just another way to communicate what's in the chest before you actually have to go and get it. But you still don't know exactly what's in there until you look in there.
But and I think it's cool. And again, you know, all of this is subject to change based on, you know, our continued development and feedback that we get once you guys get your hands on it.
Yep.
But that's one mechanic that I think is really neat, because it opens up these situations where, like, you might see something really good in a chest, and you're trying to, like, you know, go get that at all costs. And it's just a neat thing that we're able to do by introducing the hero shooter formula to this. That's cool. That's cool. So as far as performance and, like, you know, where we're going with that, how's that coming along?
Yeah. So the technical team is hard at work making sure that this performs really well. Obviously, there's a bit of a technical change in going from generally a 10-person match to up to 100, which our Battlegrounds mode does support 100 players. And so we're constantly improving server performance for that, client performance. We're creating a lot of extra new tools for the artists, especially the environment artists, to do new things. And so I actually think that this Battlegrounds map is going to look possibly even better than all of our other maps that we've done before, with some of the new features that we have. You can see some of that here. This is just a quick screenshot we took right before we came over here to talk about the game. So you can see that there's a new foliage system that's going to be coming into the game. And then you can see over in the sky, if you didn't get a chance to check out any of the gameplay footage from HRX, you can see in the sky over there there's a Zeppelin flying around. And those have a gameplay mechanic where it'll drop legendary chests that have exclusive items in it. And so they're kind of like transient objectives that come up, and so people will kind of try to get that really powerful loot, but also kind of use them as bait to try to draw other people out to get them.
The best is when you're playing Grover and you just camp out and wait for someone to go get one of those chests.
Yeah. Grover works really well for that. And as you can see, just the visual fidelity, we're working on that. Again, this is all in progress. This is all subject to change and improve. But you can kind of see the direction that we're going to be going. If you saw any of the HRX footage, you can see that we have more densely populated areas. We're going to have just more interesting areas, more varied areas. And so the team's hard at work on making sure all that happens. Now, this is an interesting screenshot. It was actually taken from one of our console builds. And I thought, oh, that looks really, really good.
Beautiful.
They're doing a great job making this thing run really well on console. So they took a screenshot of that, and you can see we will have console support for this as well. And you can see there's a few new little features if you've been paying close attention. Down at the bottom on the lower right-hand side, you can see there's a revives counter there.
Oh.
And so that was actually some of the feedback from what we saw from HRX. We've kind of changed the the chicken, the down but not out mechanic. If you're not familiar with it, the down but not out mechanic in the Battlegrounds game mode is you basically turn into a chicken when you are supposed to die, and you can run around as a chicken. And as it currently stands, we'll see if this stays. As it currently stands, you will stay as a chicken for 30 seconds, and your teammates can defend you while you will revive, and you can do that process 3 times before you're actually dead. But if you get killed while you're a chicken, then you're out for good too.
Sure.
And then your teammates can also come and help revive you, help speed up that revive time if they channel a revive on you.
We had a really funny moment in a playtest the other day where my team, 3 of us, got turned into chickens, and we have one person left who is Ash, and we're, help, help, we're running. She throws the shield down to protect us, and it's just a pack of chickens running across the battlefield.
Yeah, it's really cool. I really like that mechanic because, yeah, if you're Barrack or something, you can put up a shield, you can put up some support around them and get them into a safe place. They can go hide behind a corner. It's actually really effective too when you get kind of the sandwich effect, which happens a lot in this game mode because of the gunplay in this is a little bit different than a lot of other battle royale games. It's a lot closer, and so sometimes what happens with that is you have these 2 teams coming in and they see each other and they see that they're enemies, and you're kind of in the middle of it, and they're not sure if you're a part of which team or if you're a third one or not. And so sometimes if you are caught in there and you get turned into a chicken, if you go around and hide, they know that you're not going to be able to return fire. And so if you go and hide somewhere, you can kind of let those teams battle it out, and you revive and get out of there and try to get some loot. It's actually a pretty interesting mechanic.
Absolutely. And then the way you talk about the teams and how you see them fighting and stuff, one thing that I've noticed, and I know that you guys have talked about previously, is that sometimes it almost feels like an MMO, like you're walking in on like a team battle going on. Or
Yeah, I think anybody can at any point really get on their mount and take off and go. Now, if you're under fire, if you're in combat, you can't just like get up on it immediately and get out of there, and you will get dismounted if you do take damage from another player. But yeah, there's not really there's no vehicles defined and to coordinate how you're going to get into those. Anybody can get on there, can summon their mount and traverse the map. And so again, it's not brand new in a game.
Sure.
Mounts have been around in a lot of games. They've been around in Paladins for a lot. But it does, I think, offer something new in this genre.
Yeah. And I think internally, I go around at lunch and I see people and everyone's playing, different battle royale kind of games or MMO battlegrounds. And so we have a lot of fans of that genre internally, and I think it's cool to see basically it's like, this is our take. This is our fresh, we're bringing Paladins to this. Yeah.
I mean, I think, I think that's just a good way to look at it. That we take something that is working in terms of the core mechanics of something, just like Smite is a MOBA.
Sure.
There's some certain things that players expect to see in a MOBA, but there's also a twist on it. The same thing here, where there's some familiar things. If you've played Battlegrounds in other games before, and battle royale modes in other games, then there'll be some familiar mechanics, but there's also a lot of fresh takes on things.
Absolutely, and for me, that's what I've been liking the most, because I've always been someone who very much likes the MMOs, likes the hero shooter genre, but hasn't really explored battle royale style battlegrounds type games.
And actually the gunplay again, the distances that you actually fight and engage in this is not as long, so you are mounting up, you are going around as kind of your gang or your posse, and you come over a ridge and you see either people looting down there or a little skirmish that's going on down there, and you can't just like go and try to pick them off one at a time. You have to actually decide, okay, what do they have? Are we going to try to flank them? Are we going to try to do one big front? Are we going to leave them alone? It's really interesting mechanics.
And with the health pools, like let's say I do shoot them.
Yeah.
They're probably not going to die. They're probably going to turn around and be like, hey, you.
Yeah, the time to kill lends itself to really interesting gameplay and really interesting gunplay too.
Absolutely.
In terms of or team play and that kind of thing.
Sure, and so we're talking about like champions and how they kind of work within this. One thing that I know a lot of people have asked is like, with the broad variety of champions we have, are we going to have separate balances, or are the rules going to be different?
Yeah, going into it, we weren't really sure what was going to happen with that, and as we continued to playtest, I think the first playtest we just did all victors, because that was going to be the most like cut and dry, easiest thing to see. Okay,
Sure.
Does this thing actually work? And when we started uncovering more champions and playing with more and more, we were kind of surprised at at how well they worked and how well, especially like the support role. Early on we were thinking about how we're going to deal with health and what new mechanics are we going to bring around with health. And then as we played more, we saw what, we can actually leave this very similar to the other ways that you play Paladins, and the team comp really matters. And so to date, I think right now we don't do anything special on any champion. Now, that's not to say that we might not adjust something on a champion to make sure that it works well in both modes, but as much as possible, we're trying to make sure that this game mode works like you would expect it to in Paladins.
Absolutely.
And yeah, we were pleasantly surprised at how well these things work, and it was really cool at HRX just seeing a lot of these strategies develop, especially when we have all these new loot items, which are brand new to the game. There's just new ways to play all these champions.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I found interesting is to see, like, where different champions excel at different play styles. So, let's say you're someone who likes to, lurk in the buildings and wait for someone to come by. Like, front lines work really well for that because you get up close, that's where you're the most dangerous. Or even, if you're trying to cross a long field, James and I, one of our designers, was talking the other day about this, how shields actually play almost an entirely different role. In shields, if you're playing Siege or one of the other modes, a lot of the times it's more of like a personal thing, like just kind of like defend the point. But very much so in Battlegrounds, it's used as a means of like advancing, and so you get your whole team behind.
Sure, yeah, especially if there's like a teammate that's under fire or a chicken or something, you can throw up a shield and kind of protect him so they can go over to a ridge and kind of flank and get out of the way. With the map level design is completely different than anything that's been in Paladins before, and so the openness of it is showing all new ways of playing the game.
Cool.
And yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, we're excited to get it out to you guys, and for anyone who's just coming in, again, we're talking about the new mode. It's free. It's part of Paladins, Battlegrounds.
That's right.
Yep. And when can people expect to get a taste of this?
Well, so like I said, we announced it and debuted at HRX. So thank you for anybody who came and played it and gave us feedback. That was very helpful. And we've been iterating on a lot of those ideas that we took from the show, and we are going to plan on releasing this in the next Paladins release, the next patch, OB66.
Awesome.
And so what that means is that we're going to take a little more time to release this patch. On top of Battlegrounds, we're also going to take some time to do a lot of quality of life fixes, do some UI improvements, things like that. And so yeah, when OB66 hits, it'll be out.
That's awesome, and it'll be an early build, right? Like technical pre-alpha type.
It should be in a pretty good shape. We'll continue to develop it and work on it just like we always do with any kind of feature, but it should be in a pretty good state by that point. We will plan on going to a PTS and several rounds of PTS.
Okay.
Because it's going to be such a big patch, there's going to be a lot coming in. We will do several rounds of PTS, and we hope actually in a couple weeks or so that you might be able to get your hands on it.
Absolutely.
On PTS. Now, it's going to be much more of a technical test. There's going to be unfinished art. There's going to be unfinished design, it'll be a true PTS. But if you want to help with that, then that would be very appreciated.
So it's basically we get those PTS out for people to check out and and for us to get a lot of feedback to check the systems. And then when 66 comes, that's when it'll probably be a good spot for streamers to start getting involved and showing off the game.
Sure.
And
yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I just can't wait. It's such an exciting new way to play the game. It is a game mode, and I want to stress that it is a game mode. It's not a brand new game or anything. It is free. It's within the Paladins client. I'm just really excited about everybody getting in on this and playing in this new way. I think it's just so much fun.
And what excites me too is that a lot of these people probably check out the other game modes too. So I mean, it's just something that holistically is going to be great for the game, and we're seeing such interest in it right now.
Yeah, it's great, and we're gonna continue releasing new champions. We're gonna continue releasing new maps, and Battlegrounds is just another big thing that's on Paladins, and keep this thing going for a long time.
Absolutely. So did you have anything else you wanted to touch on with us? Because I think we've hit a lot of the major points there.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Who's your favorite champion to play right now?
Favorite champion
in the Battlegrounds.
I think my favorite champion is Barrick.
Okay.
It's kind of an old school question or answer, but I don't know. I really like the way that he plays with the turrets and the force field. And in this mode, I think he's kind of he plays a support role, but he also, once he gets the right items, can really wreck someone. And
I've been on the receiving end.
if you're smart about your turret placement and your team does really well, with that, and you've got a good healer, it can be really good. And if you're really terrible and getting a really bad spot, then you can just run away with the rocket boots typically, unless they just completely own you. But yeah, I mean it's really cool. You have to always be on the move. We're also working on with the loot system. One of the things we're figuring out is with the cards and how they're going to play into it. And so currently the test the design that we're working with right now, which might change, is you go around and there's a system for looting your cards as well, and so that you can kind of transiently build your deck basically through the gameplay. So you're not coming in directly with that, but we'll see how it plays. We'll get feedback on that and just see how it plays out.
That's awesome. When you talk about Barrack, I remember one of the craziest things I've seen in a playtest is a team of 4 Barracks who had just bunkered up in a house in the middle. It was impenetrable.
So if you do that late game, that would probably be a really good strategy. If you do that early game, then even if you get lucky and the convergence fog converges on your little barrack party there, you're probably not going to survive if everyone else has been getting really awesome loot and everything. But you did bring up a good point. At HRX and in the test you were talking about, obviously we allow duplicate champions on a particular team. For those of you who aren't familiar, we are supporting up to teams to 4 in this game mode, and we're experimenting with that on whether or not that's a good or a bad thing. And so that's just one of the things where we're not sure right now if it's going to stay where you can do 4 barracks or not, but we'll see.
Yeah, because I think we saw a team of 4 Grovers at
4
HRX.
Grovers, yeah. I think the meta by the time Sunday rolled around at HRX, I think the meta was found out that Grover does exceptionally well, especially in that build at HRX. So yeah, 4 Grovers were difficult to, but if 4 Grovers came across 4 Kinesses, the Kinesses could wreck. And that's the really cool thing about this is that every time you think, this champion's going to be the one that is just going to ruin everything, there seems to always be a good counter, and that's been a lot of fun.
It's cool to see how even just like the game changes based on which champions are in it. You have like this sniper standoff if you have the Grovers and Kinesses, or sometimes you have like a bunch of close range characters that end up being selected. Because currently, as it stands, it's like a selection of 8 different.
Yeah. So yeah, as it currently stands, and we had this at HRX as well. You don't get to choose from any champion every single match. You get a subset of champions that you get to play as, and right now it's 8, 2 per role. And what that does is it allows you to know that the enemy or the other teams aren't going to have just this variety of mishmash of all these different champions. It kind of evens the pool that you can play as, so that you can't say, they're always picking that same thing. But that also is going to play into how we do rotations and owned champions versus non-owned champions and things like that. So we're working on all of that, but yes, as it stands, there's going to be a subset of champions that you get to choose from, that everybody gets to choose from that same pool of champions.
Right on. I'm looking forward to the next batch because each build we've been trying different ones internally, and so it's cool to discover all this. Well, I'm just excited to be able to play with our community here and.
Yeah, I mean this with all sincerity. I cannot wait for you guys to play it. It's so much fun.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come out and talk with us.
Well, thanks for
this.
chatting. Thanks for chatting. This is great. I love giving. I love showing the inner workings of how the dev team works and the kinds of things that we're working on. I think it's a really cool thing to be able to expose that kind of stuff to the community.
For sure. And, you guys pay attention as we lead up to the release here, because we'll be releasing different blog posts, different videos, all kinds of different cool stuff to give you, a better look at how things are done, how they're made, how they're play tested. And I think, you guys can, learn a lot about how things kind of go on behind the scenes and see more about Battlegrounds. So. I think we're hitting about that time.
Cool.
So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, guys. I'll be on social media afterwards. If you guys got questions, feel free to hit me. Are you on Twitter?
I am, yeah. Hi-Res Mick with an M.
All right. Right on.
Yeah. Hit me up on Twitter. I'll answer questions. And, it's great talking with you guys or talking with you. And, and letting you guys know what's going on.
It's been real, friends, and as Rain Day says, never give up, never stop gaming, and something. See you in the realm.
See you in the realm. Yes.